Hello, everyone. Welcome to the OCRP. There we go. OCRP series at Kansas tonight for the When Cows Fly 125. Gotta love Wes for the names. He provided us names because we, at first, were like, I don't know. We don't know what we're going to call these races, but the When Cows Fly 125 is what you are seeing here tonight at Kansas Speedway. My name is Jeff Favignano. I am with the one, the only, Mr. Joe Cortez. Been a long time. He will be substituting for Ryan tonight. Ryan is not able to make it. How you doing tonight, Joe? Ready for some racing?
Reunited after so much time, and doesn't it feel good? Thank you for having me, Jeff. It's definitely great to be back here in the booth with you and with the OCRP community as a whole. So glad to see everybody back out there, and tonight we're going to be in for quite a race. Welcome to the egg, as I was joking with Jeff earlier tonight, because this is such a weird shaped track. The front end is pointed like the pointy end of an egg, and the back is all flat, all gas, no brakes. These guys are going to be ripping the wall coming out of turn one through the straight back stretch into turn four, and then have to make that hard left turn down to the apron to navigate this track. Now, Jeff, I know you've been watching practice. These guys are just burning up these tires out here, but I've got a feeling this wall is going to come into play, and more importantly, that wall is going to reach out a couple times and smack some of these drivers right out of contention.
Yeah, and first and foremost, I do want to say before we start, I'm still sick. I was running a fever earlier, but I'm doing better now. I came down with something at the middle of last night. So if my head is not in the game 100%, that is the reason why I'm doing everything I can right now. But I still am definitely feeling the effects of that. But with that said, yeah, a lot of these guys run on that outside lane. It seems to be the fastest way around this track, how it was back in the day when I would run it in the NIS series. And you'd be all the way up next to the fence, and we're seeing that tonight. But like you said, it will definitely come out and bite them in the butt if they get a little too risky.
Well, risk is part of the inherent nature of motorsports in general. We can't take that away. But at this track, it does have a lot more risk because, again, this is a weird shaped track. This track reminds me a lot of Kentucky Speedway, for those of you who remember when they used to run that track in these Cup cars, except for the fact that Kentucky Speedway was rough, would literally destroy tires. This track is fast. This track is slick, and it does have multiple lanes you can run, as you see Potter there go straight into the wall trying to rip it all the way through. This track is slick. This track is quick, and where you were fighting the track at Kentucky, here you're simply fighting for other drivers, you're fighting for survival, and you're fighting out of the sheer hope that your risk trying to get as much as you can out of these cars doesn't hurt you in the end and start a major chain reaction collision.
And that's one thing we will be watching out for. You know, these guys have gotten way more seasoned as the seasons have come and gone. And one of those drivers that has done exactly that is the 6 car of Clint Spells. Watching him right now, he's the 3rd fastest in practice, and you really love to see him getting closer and closer to those top spots. And that is the 81 challenge. I'm on the inside right there. Of course, we're just in practice, so nobody's driving too hard here. The 81 car of Brandon Buggs, he did send me a message and told me, hey, iRacing screwed me. I have red wheels tonight. They were supposed to be black, but he is going to be driving with just the Ukraine flag on that car tonight. No sponsors at all, but those wheels were supposed to be black, and since they're red, well, now we can make fun of it and say that it's got to be one of the ugliest cars on the track right now.
Yeah, but we would do that to Bugs anyways. I mean, that's not news, Jeff. We would find a way to do that to Bugs anyways. But in all seriousness, absolutely, our hearts and prayers are with those in Ukraine right now, and we certainly hope for a quick resolve to what has been a very ugly conflict. But enough about that. Brandon Buggs, always somebody to watch in the field, currently running 9th in the practice session, quarter second off the lead. But when you go through this field, there's a lot of names that have matured since we last talked, Jeff. I mean, guys like Clint Spells,
yes,
who's now running 3rd, the number 6 machine, Charles Gray, in the 87, Lance Fells in the 13. A lot of guys here who we were talking about a long time ago, over 2 years ago, right in the heart of the pandemic, right? A lot of these guys have matured. They've become into better drivers, and they're really starting to come into these cars as they've spent more and more time with them. So the more we go through this, these guys have more experience. They're more confident in these cars. And while we're going to see a clean race, that confidence may come and hurt them later on.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. This track is one of those kinds of, it's a 1.53 mile track, but it's one of those 1.5 milers that can really, really bite you, especially, when you wind in green flag runs, because no matter how good you are, and you saw there with the 81 earlier and with everybody else, hitting the wall there, a lot of fast drivers like Ryan Potter, consistently running laps here next to that wall that long, it's going to spell disaster, especially if you get into a long conga line. But I don't know if that's really going to be the case here as far as the racing line goes. I think we're going to have a lot of crazy restarts tonight. But whenever things settle in, if this is more of a green flag running kind of race, well, then maybe it's gonna come down to that. And I think that's gonna be the heartbreak, because you're gonna have a guy that's running in the lead, gets in the wall, gives up that position, etc., etc. And the reason why I say that is because you only have one fast repair. This is a really highly debated thing in this season with a lot of the drivers, is they only get one fast repair, and they don't really like that, because you make one mistake and your night's over.
Well, and you actually brought up the point that I was right about to bring up, Jeff. You bring up that one single fast repair. And because of that, I've got a feeling at the beginning of this race, we are going to see that conga line racing. As you see it right there, once again, the 43 machine gets bit by the wall bug and goes around. You're going to see, I think at the beginning, you're going to see a lot of very conservative racing. You're going to see a lot of guys just conga line up. They're just going to be happy to take the single file snake line around the track, mostly because they do not want to risk it. They don't want to die for free.
Well, you're seeing guys like the 6 car of Spells there. I mean, they're not afraid to run that bottom lane, and I think that's where things are really going to pay off. You decide to run that bottom lane. It's the fastest way around the track, and then let the guy up on the top make a mistake.
Sure, but they're not going to do that up front. They're not going to do that for the first half of the race. They're going to get racy in the second half when they have those fresh Goodyear tires underneath them, when they have that full tank of Sunoco racing fuel. They're going to wait and watch guys go one by one out against the wall. They're going to watch them go one by one, make those mistakes, burn their fast repairs, and want to save as much as they can for the second half of the race. The last thing you want to do, Jeff, is be stuck out on the track with no resources, and if the big one gets you, if someone gets the wall bug and then he takes you out, the last thing you want to do is be taken out with them because you made an early mistake.
Yeah, that's 100% going to be the case, and I think it's just going to be a matter of, time will tell. How aggressive are these guys actually going to get on the start of the race, 1, but 2 on the restarts? And I think that track position is really going to be a key thing tonight, especially when we do get that conga line style of racing. You're going to be wanting to get as many positions as you can on those restarts, just so you can run up next to the wall and the line like everybody else will.
Aggression. The better part of valor is discretion, obviously. And when you look at how these guys are going to race, I think you're going to see that all throughout the first half of the race. Everyone's going to be just like, a couple of heavyweight boxers. They're going to be feeling each other out for the first, half of this race. For the first set of laps, they're going to be just kind of feeling each other out, figuring out what everyone's going to do, how people are going to react, and how, they're going to go back and forth. As you see Kyle Carpenter come out from pit road tonight to take a few more practice laps with just under 20 minutes left in the session. They're gonna feel each other out. They're just gonna figure out, how do we want to approach this race, and how do we want to approach all of these other drivers, and that is ultimately going to dictate their strategy in the second half. When you have fresh tires available, when you don't have to take scuffs coming out of pit road, and you have all the good stuff under you, that's when you can really get racy, and that's when you're really gonna see some fireworks fly on this track.
And we will see fireworks because we will see sparks coming off of these cars tonight. One thing about night racing that's a lot of fun to watch is all the bottoming out. You'll see your guys getting in the wall, like the one behind Robert Keller here in the 4. Yeah, it looked like it was the 25 of Dylan Macedo there on the wall. And thank you, Google Chrome, for that. You have an update on some garbage thing that I don't use anymore. I think that was the tamper monkey thing that I used a long time ago to, it was to get rid of all of the Twitch VODs, I think, or clips. Something to do with that, I think is what it was. It's sitting there being like, hey, you need to update this because you haven't updated it in years. Like, okay.
Why haven't you updated it?
I forgot about it until now. When it just told me about it.
Of course, the man everybody is watching out here tonight and look and just kind of looking through and this field. The man everyone's watching tonight is the driver of that number 28 machine. The Rucci bot is back in town, ladies and gentlemen, and he is only not a tenth of a second off of the fastest time tonight with only 18 minutes ago in practice. So the Rucci bot always adds a complication to the OCRP iRacing League.
Oh, he really does, and he's going to be one to watch for sure because when it comes to racecraft and making decisions for strategy in a race, there's nobody out here that does it better than Rucci. Like, that's just hands down the reason why he's leading in points. And the reason I want to bring that up is because I do want to talk about the points. In the last race, we were talking about the points battle for a while. It's not a big deal because of these things called drop weeks. I'm not a huge fan of them personally. But they have taken out that element of the points race that could have been there because Rucci didn't show up for the last race and he missed out. It was 2 races ago. He missed a race in Phoenix, and then when he came back, he was still going to be technically in the lead because he didn't make it to that race. To me, I think it comes down to you show up to the racetrack, you get the points for it, and we're kind of robbed out of seeing a cool, really close points race because somebody can win a bunch of races and go, oh, I don't want to show up because I'm winning anyway.
Yeah, well, and that's an aspect of pro racing, unfortunately. And you and I have had this conversation. It's a conversation you and I have actually had for several years now. The problem, globally speaking, with esports racing is that it doesn't provide a ROI, a return for the investors and the people who are sponsoring the cars just for that reason alone. I have the points lead, or I'm in the top 16 or the top 20. I'm in chase contention. I don't have to show up anymore. I can take a week or 2 off. I can just focus my car on other tracks and get ready for that. When in the real world, you can't do that. If you don't show up for a race, that sponsor's going to put their name on somebody else's car. And if that person does better than you, you might very well find yourself out of a ride or out of a sponsor very quickly. It's as much as I respect the eNASCAR series, having called it for the first three of the first 4 years of its existence. It has changed a lot, and I don't know that I appreciate the changes that have turned it into the series that it is today.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we've talked about that off air about that, and I still do feel that way strongly about it, and I understand why it's there. At the end of the day, this is eNASCAR or this is sim racing, and I understand that people don't have an obligation to always be there in front of their computer racing these cars, but on the other side of that coin, there's a lot of guys that are here every single week, season in, season out. I don't think they should be punished for that.
But Jeff, that's also the reason, and I get that, but it's also the reason the week in, week out continuance is the reason why you've got Thrustmaster on the side of your car when you do decide the race. Right. It's the reason you have these partners is because you put in the work, you do the job, and you provide a real ROI for your partners. When you don't show up in the car, and I get it. I get tired too. I get exhausted. There are days I don't want to write, but if I don't write, my partners at Flyer Talk don't pay me. My partners at CoinDesk don't pay me. So if you're going to be dedicated, if you want this to be a career, put in the work. And these guys, they may not be making big money. They may not have those big contracts. They may not get signed by Williams Esports or Kligerman Racing. But these guys are the heart and soul of why iRacing exists. They're in it for the fun. They're in it for the drama. They're in it because they just like racing fast cars with some of their best friends and listening to 2 of the best people on commentary be able to talk about them.
Exactly. And you hit the nail on the head there. Yeah. And these guys, these sponsors they have on these cars are not a paid sponsorship, and they're fictional, and there's no money, there's no purse here involved in this series. So they don't have that obligation. But to me, it comes down to, it gets intense to watch a close points battle based on performance week in and week out. But yeah, they don't have any obligation because they don't have obligation to their own sponsors that they have on their cars. They're fake race cars, usually with a fake sponsorship. So it's just to look the part more than actually do it.
13 minutes left in the practice session before we go green flag racing here at Kansas Speedway in the middle of the cornfields for the Wincast Fly 125. Brown still holding the fastest time in practice right now, followed by Potter, Rucci, Spells, and Gray, your top 5. Graham, the rookie Johnston, Lance, Stevenson, Carpenter, rounding out your top 10. Lots, as we see Joel Brown now, the 43 machine, leading this entire crew out here. That Coors machine is looking good tonight. Now, the question is, can the Rucci bot overcome his early lead?
And that just comes down to qualifying. We're going to find that out here in about 12 and a half minutes or so. But it comes down to how well you qualify here. You don't want to be caught up in the middle of the pack or the rear of the pack. You get caught up in an early on accident. You deal with, having to face adversity because of the fast repair, the one and only fast repair you get. So getting a good qualifying position and starting position is going to make all of the world of a difference for guys like Brown, Potter, and Rucci here, because, just because you're putting down fast laps in practice doesn't mean that's what's really going to happen in qualifying. And a lot of the reason why that happens is you'll get guys that get here early when the track opens at, say, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is something I don't think we've ever talked about here, but it is true. They come in, around 7 p.m. Eastern. They have the track to themselves, maybe another guy out there. They get a blitzing fast speed, an insane speed or lap in there, and they go to the top of the board. Now, the reason why they don't qualify as well is because, they're not having to deal with an entire track of cars. A lot of guys get in there later on. They can't get those hot laps in there like some of the other guys.
Plus, as we talk about 1.5 mile tracks, yes, this is a 1.5 mile track, but it is far from a cookie cutter track that you would see on the circuit. This track designed by HNTB with that point up front that really forces you to figure out how to mess with the car. 17 to 20 degree progressive banking throughout turns 1, 2, 3, and 4. 9 to 11 degrees on the front stretch, which is why they can transition down to the apron and try to get that little extra speed down there so easily. And then 5 degrees on the back stretch out there. This is a fast track. This asphalt track is fast. Mm-hmm. It is quick. And these guys, this is, but I think what's more importantly, this is not a cookie cutter track, Jeff. This is not a Texas. It's not a Charlotte. It's not one of the ones that we get so complacent racing on. This is a track that really is going to test them and their ability to stay focused throughout the entire race.
Yep, and that is what's really going to change up everything. I can't say that I've seen guys that did well at Texas are going to do well tonight, or, vice versa. What we saw at Auto Club, it's going to be a total different ball game tonight, and I don't know. I still can't rule out Rucci. I think Rucci's going to have a really strong qualifying effort. He's going to be one to really, really beat here. I've seen what he can do at this particular track. So I think that we're going to have a lot of guys gunning for that 28 tonight. But don't count out guys like, Brown or Potter, or even Brandon Buggs. I know he's 11th in there, but don't count him out, because a lot of those guys really rise to the occasion whenever the green flag drops.
125 laps around this track, 187 miles. Just it's a little bit longer than the ARCA race, but not quite as long as the truck race would be on this field. And correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but these guys also don't have the luxury of being on, of having the competition cautions or stage racing. These guys have to go flat out the entire way around.
They do. And sometimes it comes down to, we've seen races in the OCRP series where you get long green flag runs, but we see ones that are caution fests, and we don't know what to expect out of tonight. Looks like a lot of guys are having problems with running that top line next to that wall. You see guys playing it safe like Johnston right here, riding on board with him at the bottom, and that's another thing. Who's going to make those decisions to risk it for speed versus, hey, I'll play it safe. At least I'm not going to tear my car up doing what I'm doing here. And we will see guys using that apron on the front stretch there. That's pretty common here at Kansas to run the bottom of the apron there when you get to the start-finish line.
No, that is not uncommon at all. That is the fastest way around the track, and you know these guys are doing everything they can to get every ounce of speed out of these cars. You're running now with Johnson in the Bass Pro Shops number 21 machine. You can see just how close he gets to the wall in turns 3 and 4, transition straight down to the apron and then back up to the wall, going through turns 1 and 2. It's a fast line, Jeff, but it's a dangerous line. These guys are going to be fighting again. They're going to be fighting themselves, going to be fighting the wall, and they'll be fighting other traffic. So, you know, although practice is not a good indicator of what we're going to see as we see some crashes on the track, it is an indicator of, you know, of what these cars are capable of, and it gives us a good idea of how much fight these guys are going to be dealing with.
Oh man, big crash right there as well. Yeah. And I think right now people are just kind of starting to mess around and stuff because they're going to be getting into qualifying here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, the thing is every single time that I get here and watch here in the pre-race and we watch these guys in practice, I'm always just kind of like, I get an idea of what I can expect out of the race by watching the practice, but it's usually never the same, not even close.
Never is, and in one part, that's kind of the joy of racing. That's kind of the joy of sim racing. You have fun. You just kind of mess around with what you got and let the chips fall where you were. Where they will. I will say this about sim racing. The one thing that I do love about it, the one thing that has kept me coming back to it now for over 16 years of sim race broadcasting now that I've been doing this, the one thing that keeps me coming back to it is it's a low startup cost. And there's no material risk involved. You're not going to get injured. You're not going to have to worry about junking these cars after you're done, you know, or building new chassis. You just get out on the track, you race, you have fun, you have a good time. As we see someone who would have to deal with some material problems after the race there. Oh, that is not a easy hit there. Yeah. You know, it's fun. It's a good time. Let's see it one more time in slow motion and appreciate the fact that all you're doing is tearing up pixels.
Yep. Exactly. They don't have to worry about anything. They can go back on pit road and get back out there. Now that's in practice, but in the race tonight, it's going to be different because I know the last time you were up here in the booth with me, we're not up here. We're just sitting in our houses, but
I mean, I could be.
When the last time you were here doing a broadcast, you know, we had way more fast repairs. So this does change everything. And it is, I understand where the drivers are coming from, why this is difficult and it's frustrating because you get taken out by somebody else's mistake. You feel like you're at the mercy of that fast repair no matter what. I think 2 would be probably ideal because at least you get a mulligan out of it. But it's anybody's guess, man. I've seen some of the fastest cars taken out just off of the fast repair issue.
Well, and something to keep in mind is that adds to the degree of difficulty. So, you know, on one hand, I am a big fan of demolition derbies, especially in sim racing. I love watching absurd crashes for fun and watching absurd iRacing glitch videos. It is a secret joy of mine, a secret unadulterated joy of mine is being able to watch those. But that being said, when you want skillful racing, when you want a challenge racing, that rule I'm not opposed to because it forces guys to think strategically about their entire race. You're no longer just going out there to junk it and see what happens and laugh with your buddies as you guys wreck each other over and over again. You're actually playing with strategy. You're actually thinking very creatively and carefully about how do I make this move? How do I position myself for this maneuver? When do I go down pit road so that I'm maximizing my entire vehicle?
They're doing exactly that, maximizing everything they can tonight, and I think this is gonna be a pretty interesting race for sure. It's either gonna go 2 ways. It's gonna go, you know, super boring, green flag long runs, everybody's in a line, or it's just gonna be absolute craziness. And I really don't know at this point because, like we said, it's not what we ever see when it actually comes down to the green flag. 4 minutes left in practice before we get into qualifying. How qualifying works, it's a 10-minute session. First 5 minutes qualifying. The second 5 minutes is their driver's meeting. We'll be there for you. We'll take a break right around that time, and then we will begin gridding and doing all the starting lineup and all that stuff for you here tonight. But under the lights at Kansas, good to be back here once again, and seeing these guys whipping these Xfinity cars around is always fun. But this is going to bring a whole new challenge for sure.
A whole new challenge on many different levels, but it's not one that these guys have not risen to the occasion for before. It's going to be a lot of very interesting storylines to follow through. Tonight, points are it's less about points and more about pride, more about being able to say you survived the entire 125 laps here, being able to say you got through without getting wrecked, and we're able to run with some of the best names in the OCRP league. So tonight, let's let points go for this evening. Tonight, it's about pride, it's about speed, and it's about being the best behind the wheel of 650 horsepowers of danger.
Precisely. We're watching Wes Graham get out here on the track right now, up to speed. We'll see if he decides to take the top, but one behind him, got to keep an eye on Leonard Fodorero, the winner of the last 2 races. Talk about keeping momentum. We've talked about what momentum is. When you get that win, you get that confidence in you, you go to the next track, and when you dominate the way he did again and again, he could be going for 3 tonight, and he's not super slow. He's just not on the top list at all right now. He's 9th fastest.
But again, he also may be sandbagging too. You know, the nice thing about practice is you're not out there to show off for time. You're not out there to show off for everybody else, because these times don't count. These times don't matter. In 2 minutes, these times will all be erased away to the sands of time, and none of this will matter. In 2 minutes, the only thing that matters now is where you qualify. So some of these guys may be just testing out different lanes. They may be testing out how the car works after on old tires. They're trying to figure out how much fuel they can retain if it goes green flag racing, how much fuel they have to retain in order to maintain their spot on track, and when they really want to optimize their fuel window. So yes, these times are great. These times are giving us some insight to what we're going to see, but these are not the end all be all.
No. And I think one of those guys that we are going to see more out of tonight than we have already is going to be the 80 car right here of Brandon Osborne. Talk about a guy that always brings speed to every track he's at. We saw great things out of him the last couple of races, got caught up in some stuff, but regardless, definitely going to keep an eye on the 80 car. We're not ruling him out at all. I think he's definitely going to be one to beat tonight because of making those decisions. He's a lot like Rucci, and having that long plan, or that long range plan in there. So hey, I know my pit strategy tonight. I know when I'm gonna be aggressive, when I'm gonna be more reserved. I think we're gonna see that out of him. And another driver on top of that is the 25 of Dylan Macedo. That's had a lot of speed and is just kind of had those heartbreaks. He's been so close to so many wins, and then they've been ripped away from him tonight. So been ripped away from him. So tonight, there we go. That's the sentence. We'll be looking to see. Just he's hungry for that win. I think he's one to watch as well.
If you're asking me for my ones to watch, I'm going to go with a couple of old school names that I used to call here a long time ago. Number one, obviously, Wes Graham, the driver of that number 88 machine. He is always dangerous when you put him behind the wheel of one of these machines. So be sure to watch for him in that truck. That's the I can't see it from this angle. And that Chevrolet, look for him in that Chevrolet to really do some damage on this track and make some noise out here. Charles Gray, the driver of that number 87 machine, he's matured. Let me use that word. He has matured into an incredible driver over time. He has matured into a very strong driver, a smart driver, and it would not surprise me if we see him get up there in front. And of course, there's always the Rucci bot, the fan favorite, the Rucci bot. Everybody's wanting to keep an eye on. I don't think he's showed all his cards here as we get ready to start qualifying right now.
Yes, we'll be starting qualifying here. The board is completely wiped clean. We'll see who can get the fastest lap right now. We're keeping an eye on. We're going to watch the first lap here as Wes the Mass is getting up to speed. I am keeping an eye on some of the other close favorites as well to see where they end up. But regardless, we'll see as it goes. Now, who's going to have the speed compared to what we saw in practice? Now, I know from prior experience that we're going to see Joel Brown in the top 5. I can guarantee that. He just has top 5 speed. Maybe he does have the pole tonight. I don't know. Maybe he's figured it out more than anyone else. But there's some guys like still sitting on pit road that haven't gone out. Brandon Buggs hasn't gone out there yet. Neither has Charles Gray. Obviously Tony Wilson's not going to, but okay, now Foderaro's going out there as well. Let's see where everything's lining up. Look at Tyler Thomas on the pole right now, and here comes all those. Look at this, Clint Spell's 4th. Here comes Wes to the line. That's going to put Wes right there at 9th. Wow, Tyler Thomas on the pole right now. One of the rookies. One of the guys that's what I always say in every week. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry I'm in your way. I'm just learning. I know the 80 of Brandon Osborne reached out to Tyler Thomas and said, hey, if you need help with the next track, I'm here. I can show you some things. Dylan Macedo now to the top of the pole. Fantastic to see that. And we're
qualifying still has, we still about what 3 minutes left in qualifying and some change as we see a lot of the players come out. Stevens now, the 44 machine, he will take away the pole.
Wow.
Wes Graham now, is a Wes Graham out there as well. It looks like he just jumped a second.
Yeah, this is he now 3rd. There's Rucci. Rucci putting his fastest time down, takes the pole away. Of course. I think some other guys are just sitting on pit road waiting to see. Because, yep, here comes the 81 of Brandon Buggs. We'll see where he ends up here. He's just now coming out onto the track. I think he was waiting to see who was going to end up where before he got out there. But, yeah, I mean, we're seeing some amazing runs by some of these guys. You know, top 10 for Tyler Thomas. That's huge. And, of course, that was the first lap compared to the second lap because those, you know, they take the best of the 2 laps. But we'll see where everything shakes out. But, you know, like we talked about, you know, Rucci bot, there he is right there sitting on the pole. It's going to be hard to knock him off of that pole. And that is going to be, he ran a 31 flat, so 31.047. Rucci did for the pole.
Only 3 drivers left to take qualifying. It's going to be Buggs. It's going to be Alex Reno and Wilson in those machines. Let's go ahead and take a look now. Where is he going? Where is he going to fill out? He goes to the start finish line, and Bay Area Buggs ends up 21st on his first lap. And is that his first lap or second?
Yeah, it's the first lap.
First
so
lap.
He's now it's going to be the money lap here.
Through the back stretch along the American Ethanol Super Stretch on the back here at the back at Kansas Speedway into turns 3 and 4, ripping against the wall. No, he's going to take that middle lane, going through, transitioning off 3 and 4. Will he come down to the apron? Yes, he does. And Bay Area Buggs crosses the line, 185 miles per hour, and he will end up.
Looks like it's going to be 15th.
15th.
Yep, P15. Probably not where he wants to start, but hey, that was better than 21st.
Way better than 21st. But like as we talked about earlier, you know, it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish.
And here's the 80 of Brandon Osborne. We've seen a lot of speed out of him coming out of left field, so we'll see if that happens here again.
I believe he's the last one left to take time on the field.
That's usually his style. He's usually the last one out there.
Coming around through turns
that was
3
it.
and oh, that was it. That was it. And he is going to end up
P12.
P12.
So right there, just one above Jason Lance there. Charles Gray ran 14th there, P14. Clint Spells had the 3rd fastest lap in practice, but he's going to be starting P16. And this is what we were talking about, you know. It's different. It's just, I can't explain it, but it is just different. They're going to go into their drivers meeting. We're going to take a quick break here. We'll be right back for When the Cows Fly, or When Cows Fly 125. That's what it is. Yep, that's the one. We'll be back right after this. And we are back under the lights at Kansas, about to get the win. Cows fly 125 underway. There we go. That's better. My name is Jeff Favignano, joined by the wonderful Joe Cortez. We're going to be calling shots for you here tonight as they are starting to grid, and we will do the starting lineup. And what we'll do, Joe, is we will both take turns on the starting lineup. I'll take the first row, and you can take the second row, and so on and so forth. That work out for you?
You mean like every other broadcast in the world?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I can handle that. It's been a while. Now, granted, I'm rusty. It's been a while. But we'll try it. Let's just try it and see what happens.
That's all I ask, is for you to just try. And we'll wait for them to start rolling here. We don't have that many drivers. Well, maybe. You never know. They're not all there yet. It's always somebody. They're always waiting on one more person, aren't they? It looks like it's the last guy back there. Hasn't gridded up.
You can't be the first guy to grid. I mean, that's just, you seem too eager. It's a little embarrassing. But then again, it can't be the last one, because then you hold everybody up, and that doesn't work. But what do I know?
What do you know?
What do I know? I'm just the old Yenta coming back for one last shot at glory.
Well, there is that 28. What is it? BR Chevy Camaro, I believe, on Matt Rucci's car there. He is our pole
That looks about right.
Yep. And how about Ryan Potter? You know, a P2 effort there in qualifying. He'll be starting the outside there. So that'll be really nice. We'll get your starting lineup here in just a few. We're just waiting on this last person that has not gridded yet. I don't know what that's about. Should be any moment now.
Tonight's show brought to you by Thrustmaster, makers of very fine material, very fine simulation hardware, if I say so myself. Check them out online at thrustmaster.com.
There you have it. We're rolling off finally. Let's do this thing. Let's see where everybody ends up. Well, if it'll let me, you know. There we go. That's more like it. Your starting grid. Let's do it. Starting on row 1, Matt Rucci. On the outside, Ryan Potter.
In row number 2, on the inside will be the 88 of Wes the Best, Wes Graham. On the outside, the 44, the Ford Mustang of Isaiah Stevens.
Row 3, Aaron Beaver, and then you got Dylan Macedo.
Dylan Macedo. I screwed it up. See, that's how rusty I am. Kyle Carpenter starts on the inside of row number 4 in position number 7. Tyler Thomas, the Chevy Camaro, starts position number 8 in the 8 machine.
Row number 5 got Nick Sargent and Leonard Fodderero.
Row number 6, Ryan Steinhoff in the Chevy Camaro will take the inside. Brandon Osborne in the Ford Performance Ford Mustang starts position number 12.
Row 7, Jason Lance, and then you got Charles Gray on the outside. We got to be fast on this one.
Row 8, Brandon Buggs, Clint Spells will be on the inside as the pace car goes down pit road.
There you go. They just give you no time at all, man. No time at all. Never do. All right, we're going green flag racing. My God, man.
And we are green flag flies over Kansas. 1 of 125 being scored. The Rucci bot early lead, but Potter's right on the outside going into turns 1 and 2. They will break away as Wes the Mess tries to stay with him on the backstretch.
And watching right around back here in 11th, you got 3 cars trying to figure it out. You've got the 8 of Tyler Thomas on the outside, Brandon Osborne in the middle, and Ryan Steinhoff on the bottom. Not trying to challenge for 3 wide, but kind of getting into that position back here.
Getting into that position, they will figure it out quick, coming off of turn number 4, back to almost 3 wide with that number 80 machine of Osborne right in the middle. He's going to choose high. Let's see if anyone goes with him.
Watching on the outside, Wes Graham deciding to take that outside lane, and he is going to commit to it with Dylan Macedo and the 77 of Kyle Carpenter, the rookie, involved in that as well. And here is Ryan Potter trying to hang on to that second position. A lot of racing out front, but we're keeping an eye on right around the 13th spot right here. It's a lot of racing all over the place.
2 by 2, led by the 86 machine of Lance. The icy Chevrolet Camaro will continue to go as they are scattered, scrambled, and covered, smothered, all the way back through those positions as well. 2 by 2, they go into out of turn number 2.
Man, it is really tight back there. We're watching right here with Ryan Potter. He is doing the best he can, and the caution flies. That's going to be right around where we saw this happening. That is going to be the 81 of Brandon Buggs involved in that. We'll find out what just happened here, but
buddy, I really appreciate your
Doesn't look like a whole lot of damage. Might have just been a spin.
Might have just been a spin. There's an obvious tasteless joke there I'm not going to go into on that Ukrainian flag Toyota.
Damn, right there.
Toyota Supra right there. You see it. Just that wall bug on that transition from the safer barrier bites the I can't see the number on that car, but it bites.
That's the 59, of Steinhoff.
Bites 59 Steinhoff. He's going to have another taker go with him, and as Steinhoff tries to save it, he just slides into Bay Area Bugs and Brandon Bugs. Not a lot of damage on that Supra. He should be okay, but that is still not the way he wanted to start this race. Caution on lap number 3.
Yeah, and I was watching from right here. It looks like Steinhoff got in the wall, and the 87 of Charles Gray had nowhere to go there, and they just all checked up off the corner. And it was pretty much just, one of those things, wrong place at the wrong time. 81 goes for a little bit of a ride here, holds it down. And then right here, oh, man, Jeff Spells barely got by him right there. But he's he'll be fine.
That might be the Allstate safe hands move of the race, but it's still young, as it looks like we've got some takers coming down pit road.
Yeah, they're coming down pit road, and maybe there is damage on that 81 that we don't know about, or he's going to come down pit road regardless. Maybe he wants to get new tires. Maybe he flat spotted them. We're going to see here.
I expect tires for all of these guys, at least 2. Bug's obviously going to get all 4, and maybe a little bit of damage repair. We'll see. Not a lot you can do on these composite body cars, but I think they're going to try to salvage what they can and wait to save that fast repair for later. You don't want to burn a fast repair on a quick spin like that.
And they are down, and they are away. So we are going to catch back up with everybody in the front here. Under caution for the first time tonight, after we saw that spin happen off of turn number 2. That was Steinhoff in the 59. They got in the wall, and Charles Gray just had nowhere to go there, and checked up, and then the 59 came down, just got in the side, and when you get in the side of somebody at those speeds right there, man, it's hard to hang on to it.
But that being said, it was a good effort by everybody to save the car, save their vehicles, and not get too aggressive or just not plow straight through. Everyone was smart. They hit their brakes at the right time. They didn't flat spot the tires. They didn't lock the brakes. Everybody did their job very well, and that's why we're going to go back to racing here probably in about another lap or so.
Yep, should have the pace car lights off probably next time by, and then we'll be 2x2 once again for some green flag action here under the lights at Kansas. But man, I tell you what, it has been anything but boring on these starts of the race, and I think the restart's going to be as crazy as what we just saw.
Oh, I think the restart's going to be a lot of fun, especially with West the Mess starting in position number 2, stealing that position from Potter in the 60 machine. Now it's going to be a question of, where does Rucci go? Is he going to stay on top where the speed seems to be, or is he going to go down low and try to block Graham's forward movement in this race?
And Rucci's been doing a really good job of, keeping those guys off him. And Ryan Potter had to give up that position to Wes Graham, but I got to say, Ryan did a great job of utilizing that bottom lane, and he wasn't getting thrown back there for a while. So maybe showing that the bottom lane can actually hang on, at least for a couple laps that we saw there. But all the side-by-side racing up front, especially with the leader, is exactly what everybody behind them wants to see.
But yes, that's exactly what everyone wants to see, because number one, it slows up the driving in front of them. It makes them use their tires a little harder than everybody else. And I think when you look at it, where everyone's going to go, they'll start with a low side. They'll start moving down there fast, but they want to go up high because that way they can conserve their tires, conserve their fuel, and get right back at it. Very interesting move, as Rucci will start down low and force West to go high. This will be a very, very interesting restart on many different levels.
I'm looking at Dylan Macedo. He's going to be in P4 now, started 6th tonight. So he's moved up in that 4th position. That's always nice to take a couple more because you get to jump in the outside lane. And that seems to be the preferred line here at Kansas, but is it the preferred line in the actual race? Or I mean, on the restarts, that's what we're going to see here. I think that it is. I think that the outside lane seems to be the best for these restarts. But that's going to be up to the 88 of Wes Graham to make it to get done.
So the number 28 Badger Racing Camaro of Rucci will be in control of this field when we come around turns 3 and 4. The first racing Ford Mustang pace car getting ready to make the hard left turn down pit road, and it will take them to the Geico restart zone with the Badger Racing machine of Rucci, the 28, in control of the entire field. There goes the pace car. We are back to green flag racing as soon as Rucci decides to take the flag. He's in the restart zone. We're back to green flag racing, and Rucci takes off like a bullet.
Rucci wasted no time at all. Great restart by that 28, but behind him, he's going to have Wes Graham with help from the 25 pushing him on the backside there, but there's the 3 cars on the bottom. You have the 67 and Fodderell decided to go to the bottom there, and that's going to split everybody up, and then behind them, it's all pretty much side-by-side racing.
The freight train likes to the high side right now as there's only a couple scragglers down low trying to figure out where they want to run in this line or if they can get someone to link up with them down low. So far, no takers. That low line being hung out to dry as Rucci and Graham still 1 and 2.
Riding on board here with Charles Gray, and you can just see what it's like to make these decisions at these speeds. He's driving on the bottom lane there, but he's split between 2 other cars there. It was 3 wide almost, and he still has the 8 of Tyler Thomas on his outside. They're going to go up there, maybe a little bit of a side draft. Nope, not too much, not too aggressive. He's just making the bottom work.
Making the bottom work, but at what cost? At the tires, the fuel. We'll see how he's able to do it, as it looks like they thought about going 3 wide there for a second. Coming to the start-finish line, discretion the better part of valor. Everybody trying to figure out where they want to run as they start getting these cars in line for a long green flag run.
Man, and we're riding on board with Clint Spells, and it's anything but a good time for him right now, trying to figure out how to get away from some of this traffic. It's just hard to pass with everybody trying to fight for that outside lane, or who knows where anyone's going to go here. But we've seen a lot of 3 wide action here.
A lot of 3 wide action early on this very slick, very fast track. Again, everybody shaking out their cars for the early green flag run. Want to see what they're capable of doing and how these cars are capable of responding. As now you go to the back stretch. Rucci still in the lead. We're running along the back of that Camaro, looking back at Wes Graham. Not a lot of distance between them as Wes is going to try it high. Rucci's going to go down low.
See, I was pretty impressed with Rucci. They're deciding to use the bottom. You see how much momentum the 88 has there on the top, but, the leader of the race choosing the bottom lane so far.
That is a very interesting choice, considering we saw everybody going high. So we got a little netcode going on right now, thinking about going 3 wide. Graham using the outside to his advantage, showing the speed on the outside, and he will make the move on the outside. He has currently scored the leader, but can he hold on for 2 more turns?
And that was a fantastic move by Wes Graham, just utilizing that outside lane. And I think Rucci's going to see that now and go, you know what? I don't think I can run to the bottom anymore after this many laps.
I think he's going to fall back in line. Let's see what he does coming into turns 1 and 2. Graham will take the lead, and Rucci will follow in line. The high line now coming into its own right. The first guy running down low is that 87 of Charles Gray. Let's ride along with him now in that Carhartt Camaro, and you can see just how hard he is turning that wheel, how hard he is forcing it to go down low, playing chess at 200 miles an hour. Not an easy decision to go alone, but it could pay off in the long run.
Ryan Potter in the wall there and really slow. Man. Yeah, I saw it when we were on board with Charles Gray there. I saw Ryan Potter on the outside. He seemed like he was slowed already, and then he got into the wall after starting second tonight. Now he's fallen all the way back to 24th after all of that. That is not what Ryan wanted to see. Maybe he just lost all that momentum that he had worked so hard to get.
The green flag will stay on the flag stand as Graham continues to lead. Rucci still trying to make the low line work through 3 and 4. So this could be a game of strategies we're seeing here. These guys are literally playing chess at 200 miles per hour, trying to figure out what they want to do. You're riding along with the Badger Racing Camaro of Rucci now as he tries to make that low line work, but the speed's just not there, Jeff.
No, and we're seeing him getting into the corner here about 183 miles an hour there. And look at how much speed the 88 can carry in the middle of the corner just by running that top line. And maybe this is a strategy call. Maybe Rucci wants to wait till later on to use up some more tires. He might be just, reserving a little bit here, letting the 88 do a lot more of it, or wait for the 88 to get, catch the fence. We've seen that happen all night. So If the 88 gets in the fence, that's going to work out for the 28. Maybe he's just playing it safe right now.
Hey, the wall goblins are in full effect tonight. I swear to you, I saw a couple of them hiding, especially around those safer barrier transitions coming off of two and into 3. So I think that's a smart move by him right now. Give Graham a long enough leash to hang himself on, and then take advantage of one of those wall gremlins, throw a red shout at West the Mess, and create a mess out there.
Watching right here, talk about the guy that's won the last 2 races. Definitely knows how to get it done. The 67 of Leonard Favignano up to 3rd right now after starting 10th. So he was running a 32 flat that last lap and pretty close to Wes. Wes ran a 32.057. And then, Favignano is the second fastest car right now.
The Amazon Camaro working very hard behind those, but again, he's just following in line. He is just following Wes's line. He doesn't want to create too much trouble right now, doesn't want to challenge it. He's happy to watch him, happy to figure out what Wes is going to do, try to figure out a pattern, because if Wes makes a mistake, if he makes a very rare mistake, he wants to be ready to capitalize on it, strike quick, strike hard with no mercy, and take position number 1 away from Wes the Mess.
I'm watching right back here. A lot of racing between Kyle Cleveland. Watching that 97 of Aaron Beaver now moving his way up to P10. One of those drivers that doesn't have the best luck in a lot of these situations that we've seen in the last couple weeks. But started 5th tonight. And right now fighting for that top 10 position. So I think a lot of those guys in that outside lane may have checked up for the 60 there and are paying dearly for it in track position.
Aaron Beaver, one of the old veterans of this league, is now we see the 81, the Ukrainian flag colors of Brandon Buggs, the Toyota Supra, back in contention as you see him get around the 6th there of Lance Spells. Running fast early in the race, but now Buggs starting to catch up with the rest of the field. Not a lot of damage on the Supra. Looks like he could be back in to make some noise here. Yes, we continue down the green flag stretch.
Oh, and also want to say it's Clint Spells, by the way.
Clint.
Yep.
Oh. I told you I was rusty.
We do have a Lance, though, and that is the 86 to Jason Lance, which always has speed. And it's been an up and down day for him. Started 13th, up, and he's just hanging out in 15th right now. Usually he's up there towards the front, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. And Clint Spells is falling back rapidly as well. So maybe some guys have already used their tires up.
Hey, maybe he's just being like an icy bear on the side of his car, just chilling to see what happens. That's not a bad strategy early in the race. Let's go back up front as now Rucci burning those tires low, trying to get back around Wes the Mess. Is he going to let him get around, though? That's the big question.
Yeah, and Wes is doing a great job of managing that outside lane there and forcing Rucci to run that bottom like he has been. And I think it's going to work out because Rucci is showing speed right there.
But here's the question, though. If you're the Rucci bot right now, I know everything is calculated in 1s and 0s, but you got to start calculating. How much of my tires do I want to use? How much do I want to burn right now? Because eventually I will be forced down pit road. And if we stay clean for another 102 laps or so, I don't know that I want to short pit this quick as Wes hits the wall. As soon as I say that, I might have jinxed him, Jeff.
Well, I mean, we do have that commentator's curse sometimes, but yeah, I think that's not the last time we're going to see anybody getting in the wall there, and it doesn't seem like it hurt him too bad. He's keeping that momentum towards the 28.
Wall Gremlins hard at work here tonight as Graham will fall in behind Rucci. Now where does Rucci go? Does he stay high or does he gonna go down low and bring the line with him? Rucci will go low. Graham will go behind him. Fotoraro, where does he run now? That's the big question. Where does Fotoraro take everyone else around him?
Well, we're seeing these guys run on the bottom because, well, if you're Graham, you have to run the bottom. You want to stay in that draft. The little bit that there is, you do want to keep it. It looks like Graham's going to run the top, and Fotoraro is running the top as well. And Rucci's still committing to that bottom.
So Rucci must know something about his car that we don't, because he is burning those tires pretty aggressively. And even though he can continue to run and maintain on the fuel side, that's not the issue. How much grip is he going to have at the end of this green flag run? Should be a 2 pit stop night?
Yeah, should be about 2 stops tonight, and we'll see. Depends, if cautions come out as well. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing. Right here, look at this, the 80 of Osborne up to P5 right now. Still trying to catch the back of the 77, but that's going to be a little bit of time because we're looking about 3 seconds back in the field right now from Rucci. And for those of you that are keeping an eye on everybody else, there's that 81 maintaining P11, and Aaron Beaver maintaining that 10th position. I thought we'd see more speed out of Joel Brown after what we saw in practice, but he's been just kind of hanging on to that car.
He also may just be sandbagging too, Jeff. He may just be hanging out in the back of the field, waiting to see what happens, waiting to see where everybody goes, and waiting for that first set of green flag pit stops. We're not terribly far away from them. You should see them around lap 35, 40 in that window. If these guys are trying to split it up into 2 stops, he may just be waiting to see how everybody is playing, how everybody works their car, because, you know, the last thing you want to do is burn up your car just to have a yellow flag come out.
Yeah, and I see some damage on the right rear of that 43. I think that might be a lot of the issue, why he just is not showing that much speed. I didn't think that the draft would be that big of a deal here, but apparently it is.
Well, anytime you're at a 1.5 mile track, the draft matters, because the last thing you want to do is run by yourself and with everybody running in a 3, 4, 5 car freight train around you. The last thing you want to do is be the lone soldier out there, because that air, it's like a big parachute. It just drags you back and forces you back towards the field, towards the back of the field, if everybody else around you has that wind tunnel around them. So anytime you're at a 1.5 mile track, draft matters. Not as much as super speedway, but enough where you start wanting to make some friends early in the race.
And we see damage to the back of that 88. I think he got in the wall again, and it really jacked up that right rear there, and Favignano was able to close in on him pretty quick, but he's trying to get around him. It's proven to be a little more difficult than he thought it would be. So maybe we're sitting here talking about aero, and he's got a lot of aero damage on that right rear of that car, but he seems to have speed in it still.
Getting the Darlington stripe out of the way early. He will continue to commit to the high side. He may just let Favignano around him in the next lap or two, so that he doesn't have to worry about driving in his rear view mirror, watching what's happening with that Amazon Camaro behind him. And that would not be a bad strategy move to go, as now Carpenter gets in the mix as well. What was a 2-car battle is now almost a 4-car battle.
Yeah, Kyle Carpenter, what a great run right there. Started 7th. He's up to 4th right now, and he's really waiting for these guys to make, their mistakes. But he's playing the Rucci game. He's running the bottom lane all the way down to that white line, and it's working out for him right now. He's already at the back bumper of the 67.
That was a strategy move to get back into the conversation between those 3 drivers, and it worked out very well. Favignano was trying to stay out of the way. He's like, I don't want any part of this. Let him have the position. I will watch him do it, as he looks for the crossover now.
Yeah, I don't think Leo's gonna lay down anytime soon, but I think he made a mistake there in turns 3 and 4, and the 77 was able to capitalize on it. But now we're seeing the 77 now running the outside lane there in 1 and 2, and that's working in his favor.
Mistakes were made. Contact. Looks like they had a little contact on the front stretch, but it will be Carpenter taking away the position from Favignano, with Graham still in second. Meanwhile, Rucci is in his own time zone right now, 2.3 seconds ahead of that mini pack brewing right now.
These 3 cars right here, and then all the way up there, there's Matt Rucci right now, about to exit off of turn 2. And then back here, this is still going. Look at the 77 trying to get around the 88 right there. But look at the 67 with the run.
He has got a good run, and he is getting aggressive all the way to the back bumper of the 88, but do not count out the Bandit down there. Smokey and the Bandit trying to make that beer run down low. Can he make it this time? Down to the apron. Not going to get it. The wind tunnel will catch him, but we could be going 3 wide in 1 and 2.
They are 3 wide. We're almost 3 wide there, but yeah, I think somebody is going to make a decision to bail out on that one. And all this hard racing right here has allowed the 80 of Brandon Osborne and Charles Gray in that 87 to catch up now.
Both those drivers doing a very good job of just running their race, letting those drivers go in front of them as we ride along in the 84 Performance Mustang of Osborne. You see him just kind of watching where everyone else is. He's trying to drive in their tire tracks. He's trying to work it so that he can stay around them and just take advantage of that arrow, of that draft, in order to start making his move and getting back in that group. Now, if these guys can all line up, They may have a chance to catch Rucci, but they need to start working together, start communicating, and having those spotters talk about, if I help you out now, what are you going to do for me later down the line?
Somebody that's crawled into the top 10 is indeed the 81 of Brandon Buggs. He's able to get around that 43, no problem there. And then he will set his sights on the 25 of Macedo. But that's a pretty big gap between those two drivers right there. But he has crawled himself back into the top 10 after such a rocky start to the race.
We're getting into the window of the first pit stops here, scoring lap number 35, 96 left to go here on the race. And the question is, who's going to be the first one to throw their hand out the window and say, I'm coming? And who's going to follow them? Rucci, as you see him again here, 2.5 seconds ahead of everybody. He's hauling the mail right now with no interest in stopping. The question is, when is he going to be the first one to say, yeah, let's get tires, let's get gas, and let's get back on the road? Only time will tell.
Yeah, and I think that it honestly is just, well, you see Favignano starting to pull away from these guys back here as well. So I don't think these guys are going to be coming down pit road anytime soon. I think they're going to wait as long as they possibly can, maybe another 15 laps or so before they make those decisions. But I think that a lot of these guys learned something off of the 28, and that is, it seemed like he was going slow in the beginning and he was on the bottom lane, and maybe that wasn't the best idea. And they had, they ran up there in the front for a while, but they burned their stuff up, and you can see the 28, just that reservation on tires just really, really mattered so much here.
Oh, absolutely it does. As now the 2, 3, and 4 jostle for position, Wes will get around the 77 of Carpenter. Not quite. He still wants to get that Coors beer back to the border before it gets warm. So these guys are going to continue to race amongst themselves. Rucci still just a dot on the horizon as you ride along with Osborne in that Mustang. These guys are working hard. These guys are fighting amongst each other, and I've got a feeling they're doing that almost so they can get some other guys around them, start getting that train built up, and then really challenge Rucci when it comes down to pit stops.
And that's another thing that we're seeing here is, these guys utilizing the draft. It does matter, and these guys are racing so hard around each other. They're not able to catch anyone, let alone, get something organized where they can do anything better than where they're at right now.
No, right now I think they're just having fun, doing a little boxing among themselves, trying to fight and see, who's going to react, who's going to shove when you push. And I think in lieu of having spotters, in lieu of having those communications and being able to have those conversations in real time, they're just kind of shoving and pushing a little bit, seeing how they're going to react as they go 2 by 2 through the turn. This is the time when you want to do it. You have less to risk and more to gain by pushing everyone's buttons and figuring out, if I stress you out, how are you going to react to me, and can I use that to my advantage?
Man, Osborne finally made that pass on the 88 there. It took him a little bit. He was just being real patient with it, but that moves him up into the 3rd spot. And now he is going to start getting away from the guys that are racing each other too hard, so he can find himself in a better position from this these 4 that have been racing so hard these last few laps. But I mean, look at the difference. Leo's been able to jump out there. He's 2.8 seconds back from Rucci right now, but he's kind of on his own island. And I mean, you want to talk about island, Rucci's already passed somebody, and that is the 4 of Robert Kelly going down a lap.
Rucci Island is a very real thing. The Honey Badger don't care. Badger Racing don't care. He's just happy as a clam to be way ahead of everybody else. He's got 2.7 seconds on Forterero and continuing to run. 4.6 seconds on Osborne. 4.8 seconds on Graham, and Charles Gray 5 seconds away now. He's just very happy to put this thing in cruise control and let it run until he's ready for new tires.
And I'm watching lap times here. Matt Rucci at 33.1 compared to Leo's, to Favignano's 33.2. And then that was Osborne with a 33.288. So you can see it's really, really close between 2nd and 3rd. But, man, they are still getting beat by a 10th.
Yeah, I don't know what someone might want to tear down that car afterwards. Just say it, tech team, you may want to tear that car down afterwards just to inspect and see what's going on underneath it. Meanwhile, the fan favorite tonight, Bay Area Bugs, he is continuing to climb through the ranks. You see the 81 machine in those Ukrainian colors. He's now back up to 7th after that spin earlier, dispatching the 25 machine of Macedo. And he's a man on a mission right now. He is a man who is dedicated to getting back into this race.
Yeah, and I was watching the intervals there. I'm not sure if he came down and he got a fast repair or if he took tires there, and the difference there on just a few laps is starting to show anybody that came down pit road there. But I believe Macedo did as well. Actually, did he come down pit road? I'm not really sure about that. I don't think it was Macedo. There was somebody else that came down pit road with him. But we had 4 cars on pit road. But even just, that difference in tires on maybe even 4 laps, I think we're starting to see that.
Well, and we're now on lap 44. These guys are well into their window, into their pit window at any time now. And again, it's really a matter of how comfortable are you with the car? How much fuel do you have in the tank? And are you ready to start making that commitment? Because once you go down pit road, you can't uncommit. You're stuck there. And whatever happens. If you go down alone, you're going to have to wait for everybody else to come down. And then number 2, if a yellow flag comes out, you're kind of in a bad position just having gone for service when everybody else now can come down on effectively a free lap and get their service done. They'll have newer tires, more fuel than you, and that puts you at a serious disadvantage.
Well, one thing we can absolutely say is what an incredible run by Carpenter, the rookie. He had a great run at the last race, but tonight he's just been holding in the top 5 there for a while, or the top 10. I'm sorry. But I mean, what a fantastic drive by him.
Very, very smart driving all the way around. And again, in that Carhartt machine, I don't think he wants to wrinkle it at all. I think he just wants to race early, see where the race is going early. As we have our first taker now down pit road, it's going to be the 77 machine.
Yeah, the 77.
He will break the seal.
Yeah, I was just talking about what great run he's having and all that, and I was like, he was been in the top 5, and then he was up in the top 5, and he's gone. I was like, wait a minute, something happened. He hit the road.
Well, that will break the seal for the first time tonight. He will be the first taker, as it looks like we've got a couple more cars coming down pit road. The 77 comes off as the 60 comes on, and I didn't see that other car. Looks like we have a couple more.
They got Ryan Potter on pit road, Kyle Cleveland getting service, Leonard Fodorero, he is on pit road right now. It looks like that's going to be Alex Reno. They're blinking in the background coming down pit road right now, and some more cars. Here comes our leader.
Leader Rucci will now come down pit road, and it looks like he's going to bring Osborne with him. Let's see how this cycles out for the rest of the field. No, everyone heard that he's coming down pit road, and now he's going to bring the leaders of the field with him.
So Fodorero gets out there. That's going to give the lead is currently with Gray. We'll see how everything shakes out here at the end of these green flag runs. Here's Rucci right now in his first pit stall. You have the 80 on pit road. You got the 81 on pit road. Here's the 88 of Wes Graham. It's going to be close.
Charles Gray, so far, it looks like the only one who has not come down pit road. Macedo, Lance Sargent, all now on the lead lap. It looks like they're going to try to extend the window as far as they can as the Rucci bot makes his way off pit road. Brandon Osborne will jump right on his rear end, and they're going back racing. Macedo now being credited as your leader.
He's the leader, but man, he almost caught the wall there in turns 1 and 2. That was a little scary there, but he is definitely the leader as of right now. Jason Lance and Barkman, Steinhoff, all these guys, everything will shake out all the way back to Rucci. So we're going to keep an eye on Brown. Brown will probably be the last one out there before he gives up the lead. But we'll see how that goes down. But right now, the real race is between Matt Rucci and Leonard Fodorero, the 67, which is not too far behind. He's dealing with a little bit of slower traffic right there, but now he is trying to catch him.
Now it looks like there he goes. He's going to find a way through as we ride along with the Amazon Chevy Camaro. He will get around the 89 without any problem, using that high line to his advantage. It looks like he's going to get around the Ford machine as well, the Superflow machine. He will Superflow right around him, and now it's a drag race. How hard does he want to run that car to catch up to the back bumper of Rucci?
Yeah, and that's the bad thing there. He came out in such a bad position. He was stuck behind 3-4 cars that were, at speed there, and it was hard to pass him. And that really hurt him there for a while. But right now, he's gotten clear there, and he's now putting his sights on that 28 by running the top line, and he's going to commit to that there for a while. But it looks like Rucci is still going to run that bottom. And our current leader right now is Jason Lance. He's trying to hang out as long as he possibly can. And look, he's not too far behind the 28.
Not terribly far at all. Only about a second and some change between the 28 and the 67. Carpenter also in the mix as well. Remember, he was the first one to come down pit road, so he picked up some positions by being the first one to go down and get his service early. Lance and Steinhoff right now being credited as the leaders, as they may be the last two who need to get service. When it's all cycled through, Rucci will be your leader. Ferrero will be right behind him, and Carpenter now in the mix. Osborne and Graham rounding out your top 5.
And Jason Lance still electing to not come down pit road yet. He's going to wait this one out as long as he possibly can. Maybe he'll come down pit road this time. It gets to a point where you're like, hey, being out here is just, I'm going so slow, I'm actually losing positions out of this. But if he gets a really good pit stop here, it's going to be interesting to see where he ends up shaking out in the top 10.
He will shake out the top 10, that is for sure. The question is where and how. He's still got 24 seconds and closing on Rucci and company. They are jumping on him fast, though. They are catching him quick. So now he's got to figure it out. When do I want to go down? When do I want to end this run? And this also could be a test for him. This could be a test of how much do I have in the car and how far can I extend it if we end up in a green flag ending.
And Lance still staying out right now. He is the leader, and Rucci is on the charge to try to catch the 86 here and get by him to take that lead back where he had it. But I don't know what's going on with the 86. He's really, really pushing this window.
You know, again, this is not a bad place to be if you're Lance right now. He is cool as can be. He's cool as the Icy Bear on the side of that machine. and you know, I mean, this is not a bad place to be, because the longer you can extend that out, the more fuel you will have, the better tires you will have. And when everyone else is forced to come down pit road, if there's a caution flag in the second third of this race, that could be the determining factor. So this is actually a smart play for him, as long as he can hold that lead. Hold on for dear life, buddy.
Yeah, and he's been struggling today. So, yeah, to get up there in the front, hope for a caution is all he can do, especially get some green flag laps in with these guys. Run it as hard as you possibly can. Make them burn their stuff as well. That way, if the caution comes out, everybody will come down and get tires, like you said.
Exactly, and not only will he be in a great position to do so, he'll be in a position where he'll have the option of what he wants to take. You know, at that juncture, he could take 2 tires, he could just take fuel if you really want to roll the dice, but he would be in the best position because he would be there in the lead, and he would be able to kind of dictate the pace of the race.
Lap 57, and we're going to be completing lap 58 next time by. Lance now 18 seconds in front of Rucci, has not come down pit road. He's like we had pretty much predicted that he would be the last one out. He has not come down pit road yet, so that's now down to a 17-second gap, but it's not as crazy as I thought it would be.
No, it's very manageable. He knows that they're closing in on him. He knows that every lap that goes by, they're picking up about a second and a half plus or minus on him. So he's just going to extend this out as far as he can. He's going to run that tank to empty. He's going to just drain all of the icy fluid out of that car and run it on pure sugar all the way to the end. And now I'm really curious. It's almost like that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer was trying to run the car as far past me as he could. Now we're all rooting to see what happens.
This is around the 7th position right here, and that is a battle for 6th. And it looks like Brandon Buggs took it away from Wes right there, but they've been just kind of battling back and forth here, and I've been watching it on the timing screen. They've been jumping just, a real close battle right here.
Very close battle between Wes and Bay Area Buggs. The Ukrainian Toyota Supra, though, right now really showing its speed, showing how fast it can go, as Graham's just happy to push him. Still on that outside lane, though. We've seen him fast out there. We've seen him use that outside lane to slingshot. He won't do it this time by, but I think he's slowly stalking his prey, trying to get that 88 machine around Buggs.
Now, I was watching there in that last lap. Rucci has gained now 4 seconds on Lance. I think Lance needs to come down pit road like now.
Hey, let the man run it to E. Let the man get that to E. Here he comes.
Yeah.
Here he comes. Lap number 60 on fumes. Will he break in time? He does. And now he will finally yield the lead to Rucci, Forterero, Carpenter, Osborne, and Bugs will be your top 5 this time around.
And now what's unfortunate is the 28 is going to be taking, well, not that unfortunately he's going to be taking his lead back, but now the 59 is under fire to go down a lap here. Potentially. I don't know if he's going to go all the way down a lap, but I do think he will lose a significant amount of time. Look for him to resurface maybe around the 15, around position or 15, 16, somewhere in that mid pack. But again, he's playing backgammon when everyone else is playing chess on this field. He's in a completely different game, has a completely different strategy. He's going to let Rucci and company fight for position. You know, he's going to let them go have fun, go get racing with you guys. You know, I'm going to come back and I'm just going to do my thing, and we'll see you when we see you. Rucci taking the lead back. There's the 86 blending now, and he will shake out in 16th right now.
Called it.
Yep. Oh, I wasn't talking about the 86. I was talking about the 59 of Steinhoff. He is right now fighting to stay on the lead lap, as he will be the next victim, as we have quite a few cars down. The first one down a lap right now is Jason Lance, of course, then Robert Webb. But Ryan Steinhoff right now is just trying to hang on, and he's just right here in front of him. But it looked like Rucci was going to take the pass, and he did not. So I think he's going to be okay.
You know, if I'm Rucci right now, I'm not in a hurry to put these guys a lap down. I am not in any hurry whatsoever to lap guys around me. You know why? Because I don't want to get them nervous. I don't want to get them squirrely. I want them to stay clean on the track. And what I don't want to do is pressure them at the rear bumper and have them make a mistake that could take me out or force me to use one of my only quick repair of the night. So this is going to be, I think this is a smart play on his part. I think this is very smart just to let them stay in front of him, run his race, because he's got 2 seconds in climbing on Forterero and company. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to let this stay green. The longer it stays green, the better it is for his strategy.
And it is this time, we're a little bit past halfway here, but we are going to go through the entire top 10 to let you know where everybody shook out after that pit stop round we just saw. And the leader right now is Matt Rucci at the pole, and he has been the one to beat all day. Behind him, it's been Leonard Forterero starting 10th, and he's been up to 2nd today, and he's running 2nd right now after bouncing back to the 16th position. Behind him, Brandon Osborne started 12th. He's been up to 3rd, and he is in the 3rd position right now. Behind him, Kyle Carpenter, the rookie, started 7th. And he's been up to 3rd today, but now he's in 4th. We're talking about just what a great run he's been having all day. Behind him, Brandon Buggs started 15th, up to 5th, P5 right now, and is working his way around some traffic to try to catch the 77 of Carpenter. And then behind him, you've got Charles Gray, started 14th, up to 3rd today, but now he is running in P6. Behind him, Wes Graham started 4th, and he's led some laps, but right now just hanging on in the top 10 and 7th. Behind him, Nick Sargent in the 8th position. Started 9th. Not a real bad day for him here. He's gone up 1 position. He's been up to 5th today. And then behind him, Kyle Cleveland, a driver that we've seen early on last season doing some good things. And then now he's back once again in the OCRP series. Started 20th, up to 9th. What an incredible drive by that driver. And then Aaron Beaver, been here for a very long time. Good to see it. Started 5th tonight, and he's running in the top 10. So that's how they run as of now.
So Rucci really is once again in control of this field as you see him get around the 21 machine of Johnston, that Bass Pro Shops machine. Rucci's once again in control of this field, and nothing has changed. He is still dominant on this group. Over 2 seconds on Forterero, 6 seconds on Osborne, Carpenter, and Bugs. Almost 10 seconds on these groups. Not quite an island, but maybe on the border of a time zone. I would venture to say that he is that far ahead right now. The question now becomes, the only thing that can threaten him is if the yellow flag comes out or if he ends up in an accident. If you're Rucci, just stick to the game plan. Keep moving forward. Keep hitting this car as hard as it can, and let everyone else work as they may.
And Favignano there, a 32.9 in that last one. Just about a tenth off of Rucci that last lap. Rucci had the fastest lap right now, but I'm keeping an eye on everybody, especially around 5th and 6th, and it looks like we're still 33-1s, but it's hard for these guys around 4th and 5th to break into the 32s, and that's what Rucci and Favignano are running, and now Brandon Osborne just broke into the 32.995 in that last run, that last lap there. So if you aren't running 32s right now, you're not running in the top 3.
No, but again, this is a very fluid race so far. There's a lot of back and forth, and everyone is kind of running their own race, running their own strategy. And I don't think that anybody is struggling with that right now. You know, you don't see everybody starting to bunch up. You don't see them starting to form mini packs in order to try to get back to the front. I think, as I predicted in the pre-show, Jeff, I truly believe that these guys are going to do everything they can just to be calm and keep this running green until we have that second round of pit stops, which should come around lap number 90-ish, considering they came in a lot earlier, or a lot later than I thought they would. So so right now, if you want to go get a soda, get yourself an adult beverage, maybe another single malt, I don't know, now would be the time to do it, because everyone's just going to settle in, run their own race, keep their strategy going. And really, after the second pit stop, after the final pit stop, that's when business is going to start picking up.
You just don't want to be the one to make the mistake this late in the game. And everybody, you know, if anything happens, the 28 does not want a caution at all. He can just run away with this, and this is his race to lose. Everybody behind him is absolutely hoping for a caution out of this.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody else not named Rucci wants a caution. They just don't want to be involved in it. They want to have someone else make the mistake. They want to have someone else have the lapse in concentration and end up causing the wreck. Now, the good news for, I believe, everybody on this field so far is that no one has had to burn their quick repair. Everyone still has one quick repair in the garage. They can swap out that car and get ready to get back at it. Now, even Bay Area Bugs, I'm pretty sure that the 81 of Brandon Bugs is still running clean despite getting involved in that early incident. He's moved up all the way through the field, and if anyone could benefit from the caution, it would be him. Not because he needs a quick repair, but because that would bunch the field up and allow him to start picking off even more positions without jeopardizing the integrity of the car.
Charles Gray finally getting around Jeff Spells there in the 13. That was not for position. That was a lap car. And that's the thing that you're seeing some of these guys. They're starting to deal with lap cars, and it's not that they can just, get by them in one, like a half a lap or a lap. It's been taking them longer to get by these guys.
But again, if I'm one of these guys, I'm not worried about that. I am not going to worry about getting around those lap cars right now. If I'm Rucci, if I'm Favignano, if I'm Osborne, if they want to give me the space, that'd be great. As we ride along with the Ford Performance Mustang of Favignano, as he dispatches the 91, gets around him, and Webb will stay one lap down. If I'm one of these lead lap drivers right now, I'm not going to fight to get to put someone a lap down. I'm not going to fight to get around them. If they want to fight with me, that's fine. I'll let them have the spot. And that's simply because I don't want them to jeopardize my race. I don't want them to jeopardize my car. Let them fight amongst themselves. That's fine. But the problem is, once you start making moves that could wreck me, then we have a problem.
And you're not going to see that out of these guys. A lot of these guys are just, super respectful of each other, and we don't see that kind of racing unless, things heat up. And it usually happens towards the end of a season rather than the middle of one right now. But I can say it's been interesting. This is not the top 10 I thought it would be.
Well, again, these guys are all playing chess at 200 miles per hour. They are all running their own individual races. They're not worried about where they're at right now because, the race doesn't end on lap 77. It doesn't end on lap 90. It doesn't end on lap 124. It ends at 125 when the checker flag flies over the field. So right now, all you want to do is just run clean, run safe, and make sure you don't have to use that quick repair. Save the boxing, save the fighting for that end run, you know. But now I will say this, Jeff. If I'm Fotorero, if I'm Osborne, if I'm Carpenter, I'm going to start putting, you know, whispers in their ears and being like, hey guys, can we line up here? Can we start connecting and start planning when we all want to come down? Because the only way these guys are going to catch up to Rucci and really challenge him for the lead is if they all start working as a team, as one unit, and start making their way, cutting their way through the field to the back bumper of the Badger racing machine. Then the fireworks can start flying.
Well, then we don't know if I'm not really sure how the fuel's going to work out here. I'm sure they're going to have to make one more stop tonight, but that'll be later on with probably around 20 laps or so to go. It's hard to say, but yeah, those guys need to all pit together. Hope that the 28 makes a mistake on pit road. This is if it goes green the whole way. We are seeing some guys that are starting to, especially in the back, racing side by side. So you can't rule a caution completely out of this thing, but we've seen this run in green pretty much the entire race except for the very beginning.
The 44 machine, that crunch bar Ford Mustang, not looking crunched at all. Very clean as he will let Rucci make the pass around him. And that's another car that will go a lap down. I believe they will be the first one to lap down when they come to the start finish line. You know, and speaking of pit stops, we should be hitting our next round of pit stops around lap 95. When we get to lap, that's going to be the danger zone right there. Between lap 90 and lap 100, that's going to be the danger zone because that's when people are going to start slowing down, checking up, coming down pit road, and that's when you really have the most danger of a yellow flag coming out. And if I'm Rucci, I'm not going to be the first seeing how long you can go on old tires and a full tank of Sunoco racing fuel. I'm not going to be the first one to throw my hand out and say, yeah, I'm going to come down pit road and lead the field down. I'm going to wait for maybe 4 or 5 drivers, some of the guys that are not on the lead lap, to come down, let them get their stuff out of the way. And when it's clear, when it's clean, that's when I'll make my move down pit road.
Watching right now, that is the 60 of Ryan Potter in the blue and yellow car in front of Joel Brown there. And he is fighting to be on the lead lap. Now, if Rucci passes him, which it looks like it might happen here very shortly, that means that there is going to be around about 12 cars on the lead lap after that. I don't know what just happened there. Things are freaking out. Everybody okay? Oh, people are dropping in and out. I was checking the timing screen. It looked to me like a classic timing screen where everybody's wrecking, but that was not happening, so...
Well, while Jeff is trying to figure out who's crashing what, as we watch the 91, the Duracell machine make around the track. That's going to be Webb's machine, currently running position number 16. You know, more lap cars is good news if you're in that top 5, as Bugs will drop down to position number 6. Wes Graham getting around him that time around. No, check that. Bugs will stay in position number 5. Timing is all over the place right now.
It's not correct right now. I think it might be because of all these lapped cars, but yeah, that's Potter going down a lap there. So now there's only 11 cars on the lead lap, which is absolutely crazy to think about. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but the people are kind of popping in and out. It might be a server issue right now, and it screws the timing screen up. Somebody's on pit road. I don't know what that is.
I did see that. I did see someone come down pit road.
Alex Reno.
Sure what the driver is. Alex Reno is going to break the seal. This is an interesting move by Alex Reno, though. And here's what I like about this move as he comes down pit road. He's a couple laps down, and if he can come in and get service now, it doesn't hurt him at all. In fact, it may help him actually move forward and start a charge down the field, because everyone else is going to have to come down pit road eventually. He could make up some time by getting his service done first. 4-tire stop, full tank of Sunoco fuel. The Union Pacific Mustang is down and away.
Yeah, and this is where guys got to come up with strategy. Hey, are we going to come down pit road? We're going to take 2 tires. You know, what are we going to do to gamble here to try to get track position on Rucci if the caution does not come out? And he's about to lap some more people. This is kind of crazy how many cars are going down a lap here. That is Kyle Cleveland in that 11 Red Bull Supra about to go down a lap. And if he does complete that, that will make only 10 cars on the lead lap, and it looks like that's going to happen right now.
10 cars will remain on the lead lap. Rucci, Federero, Osborne, Carpenter, the rookie, in position number 4. Brandon Buggs, 5th. Charles Gray, 6th. Wes Graham, 7th. Sergeant Beaver, Macedo, rounding out your top 10. If you're in that top 10 right now, you're in a good place. You're happy because now you don't have to worry. You have to worry less about other traffic fighting you if we come down to if the caution flag comes out once again. Now, if you're in that other group, you want to fight as hard as you can to be the leader because number 1, you'll get your lap back. You could get your lap back if a yellow flag comes out. Number 2, you definitely want to be the last one to lead lap. You'll come all the way back around. You'll get your service with the leaders, as looks like the 77 Carpenter's now going to come down pit road.
This is definitely a strategy move right now. What a great run he's had all night. This is going to be his final stop of the night, and we'll see where he ends up after all of this. Right now, hoping that he can make it in the top 10.
No surprises so far on pit road. Looks like it'll be 2 tires for the Carhartt machine, 4 tires for the 77. Very interesting move for the Amazon Chevrolet Camaro, as the 77 now down and away. More takers down pit road. It will be your leader in Brandon Buggs.
Yep, the leaders on pit road. You got Brandon Buggs, Charles Gray on pit road as well, and it looks like Brandon Osborne will be taking the lead over. And then is that that's West? Yeah, West the Mess, Graham on pit road as well.
It will be a 4-tire stop for your leader, the Rucci bot, down and away. He will come down on pit road. Everyone else not taking any risks at all. They're all going to take 4 tires and a full tank of Sunoco racing fuel. This will be the last stop for them. Check that. It'll be Buggs down the first one off pit road, and it looks like West MS may have just edged off in second.
Yeah, and we won't find out for another lap or two how everything played out. But Brandon Osborne right now is the leader. We're waiting to see when he's going to come down pit road. And I think he's going to do it probably this time by. Nope, not going to happen. He's going to stay out there a little bit longer.
He may try to do the same thing we saw earlier and just run that car until it goes dry. The Ford Performance Mustang doing everything it can to keep running, but he's running low right now. It looks like he's slowing up behind that lap traffic as you see just how much of a runway he has behind him to come down pit road. Is it going to come down this time by, or is he going to make this a fuel run?
He has to.
It's not out of the question that
That's
he may
Richie.
try to. Nope, he's going to come down pit road this time.
Yeah, that was Rucci right there on the back. He had no choice but to come down pit road now. That wasn't going to work out in his favor at all if he didn't. So he needs to have a flawless pit stop here, and we'll see if he has any strategy, if he's going to try to take the 2 tires. I haven't seen anybody try to take 2 tires yet.
I think we've seen one driver take 2 tires. I do not recall which one though, but it would not surprise me if everyone takes 4 tires. Let's follow Brandon Osborne now as he's on pit road. Right side is up as the fuel goes into that Ford Performance Mustang. Will it be the other side? Yes, it will. 4 tire stop. Brand new Goodyears on all 4 sides, down and away. Excellent stop for Osborne. He's down and running.
And that'll be his final stop of the day as well. But right now, the leader is Nick Sargent. Nick at Night, as he is known as. And Macedo behind him, and then Steinhoff. And then there's Rucci right there in 4th. So waiting for Steinhoff, Macedo, and Sargent to come down pit road next. And that'll give that up. But right now, the one who is kind of winning in this is going to be... I don't know what's happening here around these guys, because around Steinhoff and all these guys, it's all screwed up.
Well, looks like I have a couple more takers down pit road. Let's focus on the 48 of Sargent as he continues to run strong up front. Now check that. We're going to run with the 67 machine. That is Forterero in the Amazon Camaro. He's going to continue to start making his moves. Looks like he'll cycle out in position number 2 when all is said and done. Currently riding around some lap traffic in front of him. But again, he doesn't need to be in a hurry to get around them, as Rucci will score as your leader this time by Sargent. May have come down pit road. Yes, he did. So Forterero will inherit position number 2. Now the question is, how hard does he want to race to catch back up to Rucci?
This is time to go. There's no saving anything right now. You're going to drive the car as hard as you possibly can. And I'm really surprised to see Rucci still around the bottom. I think that is the favored line tonight, and it's been the fastest.
If you are in this car right now, you have to burn it down as hard as you can, as it looks like the 40 tried to go for down pit road, but it had to abort the stop. Maybe it was going too fast down pit road and wanted to avoid the penalty. Rucci now on just tearing everything up in front of him. He has no time to waste, nothing left to give. He is going to do everything he can to avoid that 67. Although Forteraro, I believe, has an Amazon delivery he wants to give Rucci right now.
Yeah, the 67 is running as hard as he can. He's on the bottom actually here, doing the same thing that the leader was doing, but he has a couple of these slower cars in front of him. He can't waste any time around them at all.
No, this is go time. At this point, you put the pedal down, you put the hammer down, you come around the backstretch, and you do everything you can to get those ponies working as hard as they can down that American ethanol backstretch. Going into 3 and 4, Forteraro digging as hard as he can, but does he have enough to catch up to the Honey Badger?
It's going to be hard to get to the Badger tonight, man. I mean, 2.8 second gap. Almost 3 seconds just off those stops alone. So I don't think anybody gambled here. No one took 2 tires. I think this one's just going to play out green unless the caution comes out.
If you're Forteraro, if you're Carpenter, if you're Osborne, Lance, or even Bugs, at this point in the race, you're rolling dice. You have less control over your race, and you're just hoping somebody else makes a fatal mistake. You're hoping somebody makes an error on the track, and that the yellow flag will collect everybody and bring this down to a race with 28 laps left to go, scoring lap number 98. At this point, you are really, really hoping that the dice come up in your favor.
Yeah, everybody's praying for a caution right now. And man, I got to say, who really, really got the best out of those last couple stops the only 2 stops we've had tonight was Jason Lance. I mean, he's in 6th right now. He was holding on in 5th right there whenever Brandon Bugs went by him. But yeah, Lance, that definitely worked out in his favor. He can pull a top 10 just off of his pit strategy tonight.
Hey, sometimes being able to run the longest is enough to win big time. So good for him. The smart move, and that could be the smartest move of the night. We'll see. I've been listening to Forteraro's radio. I think they're calling for rain in turn number 3. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they're pressuring the officials, saying, "Hey, we see some rain clouds in turn number 3. Can we get a caution in case that happens?"
And if anybody wants that, it's definitely Forteraro. You know, winning the last 2 races, carrying that momentum into this one tonight. This is going to be one of those things where he was really trying to pull a hat trick out. I don't think he's going to be able to pull it off unless the caution comes out because, well, you know, he's at 2.8 seconds now. But it's still, I mean, that's close to 3 seconds. That's a pretty good gap. If we go to our blimp cam here, you can see there he is. And then all the way up here, there's Rucci right there, exiting off of turn 4, coming to the tri-oval now. And then behind him, there's Forteraro and company. And then Kyle Carpenter is back here in turns 3 and 4, and Brandon Osborne as well, and then Bugs. So that's how all the top 5 are running right now, but a huge gap, as you can see. That's the 28 already on the backstretch.
And here's the thing, Rucci is picking off about 2 to 3 tenths of a second each time around. He is just that faster around everybody else right now. The only thing that could check him up would be that lap traffic in front of him, or again, as we've been talking about, the caution flag that could come out. 24 laps left to go at this juncture, and I don't know. I don't know that we're going to see anything ruin Rucci's night. It's his fate is in his hands at this juncture.
Yeah, and the only thing that could ruin that is him getting in the wall, or, you know, getting into some sort of situation like that, or if the caution comes out. But he's increased that lead now to 3 seconds, which is massive. And now it's back down to 2.8 there in the corners. But yeah, no, I mean, he's actually increasing speed. He ran a 32.253 compared to the 32.419 that Forteraro. So Forteraro actually was faster that last lap, right at the line there. So he ran a 32.4 now. 408. So Leonard Forteraro is on the move forward, but behind him, Kyle Carpenter ran a 3.66, and then Osborne with a 32.323. So I would say the fastest car currently on the track is the 80 of Brandon Osborne.
But the 60 of Potter is going to do everything he can to make sure that that Rucci's forward momentum gets cut off a little bit. He's got the most to gain if a caution flag comes out. He'll be on the lead lap. He'll be able to get around and race in the top 10 with everybody. So look for that 60 to get as wide as he can make it to try to fight off the Badger. Although I think this time the Badger's going to choose him.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be a tough pill to swallow. So that's the 60 of Ryan Potter going down a lap now. So he will be in the position for the lucky dog if that caution does come out. We'll wait to see. In the next few laps, I mean, there's still a lot of racing to go, but it's kind of starting to get to that point where, I mean, whenever you're a driver and you know, okay, we got 20 laps to go, it starts to get a little bit harder. I mean, it's harder to keep that pace forward, and we're seeing Favignano right now dealing with lap traffic, and Rucci has increased his lead to 3.5 seconds now.
Yeah, that lap traffic is not being kind to Favignano. He's looking like one of those big blue Amazon vans stuck in traffic right now. You know what I'm talking about when you're looking on the map and you're waiting for the truck to come to your door and it's not getting any faster. That's what I'm sure that's exactly what he feels like right now. Almost 3.5 seconds between him and Rucci, and all he can do is watch as that 28, the Badger Gaming machine goes further and further into the distance.
Free up storage space.
Storage
yep.
I was about to say, you don't want to free up storage space, Jeff.
Thank you, Windows 10, for absolutely reminding us that we're doing sim racing tonight. There's no professionalism in broadcasting here when you're doing an iRacing broadcast, that's for certain.
The brakes are off tonight. The brakes are just completely off. It's a free concert from now on.
You're not wrong. So the 91 now is he's the next one to go down another lap. He's actually currently 2 laps down, so he'll go down 3 laps if he does get past here. But Dylan Macedo, such high hopes for him tonight, and he's fighting to be on the lead lap, and he's going to go down 1 here as well. So currently right now, only 9 cars. Nah, he said that right. 9 cars on the lead lap.
The 48 of Sargent, the last one on the lead lap.
Look at Macedo with a crossover. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's got nothing to lose, and he wants his lap back. He's going to go get it.
That was a great move by Dylan Macedo there to try to hold on to his lap. And this is exactly what you want. You know, the guys that are running in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, this is what you want. You want Rucci to be battling other cars. That's the only way you're going to slow him down.
Oh, if you are all those other drivers in the back right now, you are rooting for the 25 Macedo. You guys are no longer competitors. You guys are on the same team. And what you're telling him is hold that car off. We're coming. We're going as fast as we can. But with 17 laps left in this feature, I don't know that it's going to be enough.
Yeah, they're running out of time for sure. But you can see that the 67's dealing with the same thing. All these guys are actually dealing with the same thing of, you know, lap traffic around him. It's not just Rucci.
Well, Favignano's not picking up any time. Even despite the lap traffic, he's not picking up any time on Rucci. He's still got 4.5 seconds to make up on the 28 machine. So all he can hope for is that the 25 of Macedo gives him the fight of his life. Although it doesn't look like Rucci is disturbed by that at all. I think he's just going to let him have the lap.
Yeah, and I think that that's a smart move right now. You know, you don't want to make he's a really smart race car driver, and when you see him making decisions like this, hey, you know what, maybe I shouldn't press the issue too much here, or just let it happen naturally. You don't want to get loose underneath the 25, getting in an accident. It will just ruin your entire night.
15 laps left to go, and it's Rucci in control. And despite that lap traffic, he's not going to fight it. He's just going to let it go because he is doing because despite all that, he's still putting time between him and Favignano. That gap that was 4.5 seconds about 2 laps ago, it's now almost 5.
Absolutely crazy. The 28 is just sailing away, and there's just no other reason than, you know, conserving tires and then using them whenever it matters the most. And that is what makes Matt Rucci tick. He knows how to conserve tires. He knows how to play a longer game. You won't see him burning his stuff up. And then you start seeing these incredible gains he gets towards the end of his runs.
And his gains are just getting stronger and stronger. And again, as you see him navigate that lap traffic, he's not in a hurry. He's not pressuring these guys. He's not forcing them to make any unforced errors. He wants them to run. Looks like that Supra just got into the wall.
Yeah, Jeff Spells in the 13 there.
Jeff Spells got into the wall, but he's not going to spin. He's going to collect it and keep going. Great news for Rucci. Bad news for everyone else in the field.
I'm just keeping an eye on any of the racing that's going on right now. There's Brandon Osborne putting the 11 or behind him. Yeah, I'm not seeing any like fights for any positions right now. It's pretty spread out all the way around here.
Which again is great news if your name is Matt Rucci, because you don't have to worry about it. Although Fotorero is starting to cut into that lead just a little bit. What was a 5-second gap is now 4 3/4 in just a few laps. But we're now at 11 to go. It may be too late for the 67 team.
Ticking off lap after lap back at the stripe. Matt Rucci going to be completing lap 114 there. So we're going to be lap 115 now. Time is running out. This is indeed Rucci's race to lose.
11 lap, 10 and a half as they go down the backstretch, and Rucci just continues to run like a machine. The Badger racing machine, calculated as a Badger, and is just not letting anything around him bother him. He's going to continue to put it in cruise control. Fotorero is now praying for that caution flag. 10 to go.
10 laps to go, and it is going to be, well, 9 laps to go now.
All right, 9 laps.
Am I crazy?
9 laps to go, as it were.
I think it's 9. I don't know.
In any event, Rucci continues just to dominate over this field, still keeping about a 4 3/4 second gap over the rest of the field behind him. Fotorero in a comfortable bubble as well. All he has to do is finish without any errors, and he's got an easy second place victory. Not as good as first, but hey, second place is a good place to be for the points.
Yeah, and even watching back here around second, third, and fourth, you have Fotorero, 5 seconds back, and then that's 8. So another 3 behind him to Osborne, and then Carpenter at 11 and 15, and so on and so forth. I mean, even Graham, 22 seconds back. The 28 is just lapping the field, and it's kind of crazy. 10 cars on the lead lap now, as Macedo was the one, and he's still there, right in front of Rucci. They're trying to hold on so that the field isn't lapped yet again. But yeah, I mean, what can you say? The 28 came here, showed speed, knows how to get it done on these 1.5 mile tracks, and this is no different.
This just in. I just got this bulletin handed to me from Reuters, Jeff. They are projecting Matt Rucci the winner of tonight's race, pending no yellow flags or accidents. They're projecting Matt Rucci the winner. That's how confident I think everyone is on pit road that they're not going to catch up to the 28.
Yep, and their time is running out. The 28 of Matt Rucci dominating today at Kansas. What can you say other than just what a fantastic job?
Incredible show. A little bit of racing early, but now it's just in cruise control, and now all he has to do is keep control of his vehicle, keep control of the 4 wheels underneath him, and as long as nothing crazy happens, all he has to do is continue to dominate over this race, continue to grow that lead, and just run his race all the way to the checkered flag.
It is incredible to watch how smooth he is in the tri-oval, and then how smooth he is on the track in general. But it doesn't feel like he's reserving anything. But, I mean, I'm sure he isn't right now at all. He's driving it pretty hard, but, man, he's really been able to make this bottom lane work.
Making both lanes work for him earlier. I mean, you saw him running primarily that low lane throughout the race, and then he ran the high line just a little bit just to see what was going on up there, to try to keep West behind him. He has run his own race very successfully. They call him the Rucci bot for a reason. he doesn't see the world like you and I do. He sees it like Neo from the Matrix, ones and zeros, cold and calculated all the way through, and you're seeing the rewards of that as we come down to the finishing laps of this race. Fotorero 5.5 seconds now away. Osborne 8.5 seconds away, and nobody's got an answer for the 28 team.
No, nobody does, and it's pretty interesting to watch the 25 just kind of holding on lap after lap. But yeah, now the time is completely out. The only thing that could change this would be a caution, and I just don't see that happening.
The news bulletin coming in from CNN, finding no caution flags. They're now projecting Matt Rucci as the winner of this race, as he is just in his completely own time zone. We're not going to call it till the AP calls it, but if I'm a betting man, I'm watching the AP wire right now.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that 28 has got this one in the bag. But you know what? This is racing. Anything can happen, and we've seen some wild finishes in this league.
Popsicle sticks will be in the air this time by as Rucci goes down the American Ethanol backstretch. Fotorero 6.9 seconds back. Osborne 8.5 seconds back. Carpenter in fourth, and Charles Gray rounding out your top five. Bugs, who everyone's rooting for, he's only about a second away from Charles Gray, so we could have a top five, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a very tough 2 laps for him to make that work. Popsicle sticks fly. 2 more to go.
Yeah, and Charles Gray did get by there, and he is in the 5th position right now, trying to catch Kyle Carpenter. And Wes Graham is in 7th back there all by himself. As he gets off, looks like he got loose almost there, but he finds himself on the bottom of the track there. And here comes Rucci now, so it will be 1 to go. Should be 1 to go, brought to you by good old Thrustmaster.
Thrustmaster 1 to go as a white flag flies, and Rucci in square control of this field. Down the American Ethanol backstretch one more time as he will just continue his dominance over the race. Dives into the 25 into turns 3 and 4 for one more round, Jeff.
Coming through the last couple of corners here off of turn number 4. Matt Rucci will get it done here tonight at Kansas.
And what an incredible finish for him. The checker flag flies. Unofficial results on your screen right now. Rucci ends with a 7-second lead on the rest of the field. Fotorero rounds out position number 2 as a 25, given a congratulatory bump to the 28 machine right there. Osborne in position number 3. Carpenter in 4th. Charles Gray rounding out your top 5. Your top 10 belonging to the 81 of Bugs, the 88 of Graham, the 48 of Sargent, the 25 of Macedo, and the 86 of Lance. 8 cars ending on the lead lap tonight.
And now it's time for the 28 to burn it down. Oh, the 80, give him a shot.
The 88 just giving him a little congratulatory shot in the shorts there, and wouldn't be surprised if he need to maybe do a little cleanup the shorts after that. Burn them down, Matt, you've won this race in convincing fashion. Great show.
Fantastic job by the 28 of Rucci, celebrating here tonight. Right at the start-finish line. It's awesome of the iRacing fireworks in the background there. Do want to say a big thanks to all of you that watch live here on twitch.tv/jfavignano. All the archives of the race. If you missed any of the race, will be on the Favignano Live channel on YouTube. A big thanks to Joe Cortez for joining me tonight. We do appreciate that, of course. If you just sit around for a little bit longer, we're going to do some driver interviews, and we'll be right back with you. Stay tuned. All right, I want to catch up to you guys really fast for a few interviews. Definitely want to talk to the race domination tonight. Matt Rucci taking another win here. Any challenge out there at all whatsoever here at Kansas?
I mean, yeah, going into this race, I thought this would just be a top groove, just everyone just ripping the wall. But the bottom lane, maybe it was the track temp or just it being nighttime. It was the bottom was rolling really good. I was able to hook the apron, and save tires that way and just be able to keep that lead how it was. But it was a fun race. Good to get a win here after a few bad weeks, but a lot of fun. Hope everyone enjoyed it.
Fantastic. There you go. Matt Rucci starting first tonight on pole, led 95 laps tonight, and catching up to Leonard Favignano. So close, had that momentum of the last two wins here, coming into Kansas tonight. What was the tough part tonight to get it done?
Just not knowing the bottom lane was going to work as well as it did. I mean, it's still good to come in here and finish second, still being consistent. And, I definitely didn't expect the bottom lane to come in like that. I always thought the top was the way to go, but I was looking at my tire wear and it wasn't really even, so yeah, definitely a fun race. And congrats to Matt.
Leonard Favignano starting 10th tonight. I'll get to second position. Do want to catch up to the 81 of Brandon Buggs. Well, welcome back to your second race, first of all. But number two, how scary was it there in the beginning? First opening laps, and you were able to get through everything tonight and round out a top 10.
Yeah, pretty interesting opening laps. My plan was to just take it easy, and ended up, catching that 59 car after he bumped the wall, and thankfully didn't get ARCA braked after that. That really saved us from any major damage. Came into the pits, decided to just see what my optional repair was. It was only 10 seconds, so I figured, okay, that's a pretty good situation. Got it fixed and went back out, and then just kind of took it easy on the first set. The car really went into a groove after about 10-15 laps. And everyone was running the high line, yet I seemed to find my speed down on the low line. So I just kept running that and just kept running consistently, and I was catching cars, and next thing I know, I was working my way into the top 10. So had a great race.
There you go. Starting 15th, ends up 6th. I do want to talk to Brandon Osborne. You started 12th tonight. You were dealing with a lot of lap traffic there as well. And you were running the middle line tonight. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I struggled real early, as you could kind of see in practice. Qualifying didn't qualify exactly where I wanted to be, so just kind of had to deal with that. Had to search around and find a line on the track, and saw everyone running up top. Little insight, Rucci was telling me that he was, hanging around the bottom, and so I kind of mixed them up and did both, and it worked for me, and I kept running, and I think I could have pushed my car a little more. I think I was saving too much tire. Started catching Leonard there at the end as well, so wish we had an extra, 10-15 laps, but it is what it is. Did better than I thought I was after practice, and yeah.
Fantastic. Started 12th, ends up 3rd there. Not bad at all. I do want to say, wow, Kyle Carpenter, starting 7th tonight. You're here in 4th. Not a fluke as a rookie, are you? You had some great runs recently, and this one's no different.
Yeah, after qualifying, I didn't know if I was gonna run that far up or not, but it just worked out, and I seen Matt running the bottom and just kind of went back and forth between the top and the bottom, just whatever I felt was best, and just ran it. And it's a lot of fun racing these guys up here.
Fantastic stuff. There you go. 7th and finishes 4th. Last one I want to talk to real fast is Wes Graham. Wes, you were up there in front. You had something for the 28 there for a while, led some laps, and then everything kind of just changed there.
Yeah, just completely lost the track, man. Kansas has always been, rip defense, and you could run the bottom for maybe like 2-3 laps, and it would absolutely eat your tires up. And unfortunately, I think what whatever they've done to it when they changed how the air works against the wall, it's completely like changed the outer groove for me, and I've just lost touch with it, man. You know, ain't no harm, no foul. You know, the league admin in me is so happy and so proud that this race went, you know, with just the one caution, and you know, everybody was, you know, just out there driving the absolute tires off these cars, and you know, the racer in me is like, well, you know, I led a couple of laps, you know, and just absolutely killed the right front on both of those runs, and I took 2 tires on that last stop to see if I could maybe make up some position, and the car was just so squirrely that I was like, well, I'm just gonna back it down, not cause a caution. But I mean, great race overall for everybody. Really proud of everybody. Congrats to Rucci and everything.
Well, fantastic. There you go. Good to hear that everybody was able to get it done with only 1 caution tonight. Absolutely crazy. Let you guys get to your driver's meeting, and I'll talk to you soon. All right. Well, before we get out of here, Mitch, thank you very much for giving all those subscriptions away. I saw that there on the side when I was finishing everything out there. Joe, there you have it. That's how everything shook out there.
You know, it was a fun race on many levels. You saw a lot of strategy. You saw a lot of people playing, as we saw earlier, chess at 200 miles per hour. You saw a lot of smart driving all the way through. Instead of letting emotions get to you at that heightened hour, you simply did the best you could with the equipment you had. And at the end of the day, everyone finished probably where they deserve to at the end of the night. Jeff, so great to be back with you. Hopefully we can do this again soon. Give my love to Civ Ryan, who I'm sure will be back in the seat. Ryan, I hope the seat is adequately warm when you come back.
There you go. That's going to do it for us tonight here at Kansas. We'll see you next week. It's going to be at, where are we at? Iowa. Yeah, everybody's got the corn schemes next week. So March 10th, next Thursday, we'll be back here once again, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, racing around 9 p.m. Eastern. Y'all enjoy your rest of your weekend and weekend, all that stuff. We'll see you next time. Take care. Stand by for raid.